Hey you, if you're looking for something nice to listen to while working, driving, chilling, exercising, or whatever, then you have come to the right place. I have fun and in-depth conversations with independent artists from a wide variety of musical genres, and you're about to listen to one right now. So if you like what you hear, then please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for further notifications of my upcoming podcasts. And now, on with the show. Have you ever wondered what goes into organizing a live music event, let alone a heavy metal gig in places like Dubai in the Middle East? Well, wonder no more, because my guests for today are Vinod and Matthew of Resurrection Metal Events. Formed in 2010, Resurrection Metal Events has been flying the flag for heavy music in Dubai by hosting numerous regular gigs over the years that not only feature the best local talent the region has to offer, but major Indian metal bands like the Down Troddence, Chaos and Inner Sanctum, and heavy-hitting international talent like Massacre, Sinister and Pestilence. With a wealth of information and stories and a unique perspective on live music to offer, Vinod and Matthew sat down with me to talk about a whole host of topics that include the history and achievements of Resurrection Metal events, how a heavy metal gig is organized from top to bottom, the unique background of heavy music in Dubai and the Middle East, how bands can increase their chances of attracting organizers and getting gigs, and so much more. So, without further ado, here's me with Resurrection Metal Events. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome. I've been looking forward to having you guys on. How are you guys doing?
Hey, great, Sai. Thanks a lot. But before we start, let me introduce Matthew. Matthew has just joined the Resurrection Metal Events team. Matthew is from South Africa, and he's been running his own pub in Durban, South Africa. So he's joined us.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining the show. So, how has your time been with Resurrection so far?
So far, so good. I've been following them for some time. I've been to a few of the shows over the last few years, and I was so excited when he gave me a call and invited me to join up. Music is a massive passion of mine. It has been almost my whole life. So, yeah, when I moved to Dubai from South Africa, I was disappointed to leave the music scene there, and I was hoping to get involved here. And yeah, Vinny's given me that opportunity. So yeah, I'm guns blazing and looking forward to the future.
Yeah, just a little tangent. What is the heavy music scene in South Africa like? Like, what were you going away from? What is it like?
There's a great scene in South Africa. The music scene from pop through to brutal deathcore. I mean, Volvadinia, obviously from South Africa. There's several bands. You have to check out a band called Your Cynical Sanity. I'm from Durban, so the music scene there is a little bit smaller. I owned a live music venue there for just over 10 years, and I had an events company for many more years. And no, the hardcore scene in South Africa is great. We're quite a big country, so there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of music.
Okay, lovely. So, before we start, I think the most recent show that Resurrection Metal Events had was the Down Troddence. How did the Down Troddence show go?
It was awesome. I mean, they're coming back to the scene after 2 years. I mean, it was a first gig of theirs. They were a little bit kind of jittery, but coming on stage after 2 years is after a long break is definitely going to keep them a little on their toes. But they blasted it. I mean, they just destroyed Dubai, and the music, the sound, their stage presence, their overall, I mean, their attitude was just brilliant. I mean, we loved it. Me and Matthew loved it a lot. So did the crowd. I mean, the sound, everything was really great, and it was a great show. One of the best shows in Dubai, I can say, from an Indian band. Yeah, what do you say, Matthew?
Absolutely. They were professional. You could see that they have done this or been doing it for some time, but they were also very humble. I mean, they were talking to fans and to everyone that wanted to meet them. They were so happy to chat with them, myself included. Yeah, from picking them up at the airport to say goodbye at the hotel, it was just
It
good
was
time.
very smooth, and nothing rock star attitude, nothing. You're absolutely down to earth. That's why they call themselves the down I guess.
Yeah.
very, very simple. Now with their keyboard player Sushin being such a famous, Malayalam movie director, nothing, no, we didn't feel any attitude, nothing. They met all the meet and greet fans. They signed their stuff. They took pictures with them. They stayed after the show. They had a few drinks, whatever, with them. So overall, great. I mean, great musicians. I mean, each one of them on its own are great. Varun and Advait and Moons and all of them, including Ganesh and Nizar, of course. I mean, all of them are great musicians. I mean, each in their own realm have really come out with a great album. I think it's a treat for all the fans in India who've been going to watch them. I think in Kochi on 28th. That's tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
it is gonna be great, man. I mean, they it's great to have a band like this back in the scene, it helps the Indian bands, and it's great. The music is amazing.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, how many editions has it been so far of Resurrection's metal gigs? Because I think there are like more than 30 now, if I'm not wrong, right?
Correct. To be precise, we've just done the 37th one was with the Down Troddence. So we are gearing up for the 38th one on the 4th of October with epicardiectomy from Czech Republic and Engineered Project Society or ESP from the USA, which is on the 4th at the Oak Bar. Yeah, we're gearing up for that. So that's the 38th one. So we've been doing this for over 4, 5, actually 15 years now. I haven't counted many of them in my numbers because I just started tracking it only from 2015 onwards. So I've
Hmm.
done a few in Oman and a few in Bahrain as well, but they've of course branched out into their own streams as such. But yeah, it's been 15 years been in the scene doing this, but doing it more regularly after COVID. I mean, since 2021 onwards, we've got gathered the momentum and we've created this more aggressively on a monthly basis. So, yeah, and of course, all the top Indian bands have played with us. One more coming up soon. So, I think with that, I will seal most of the top Indian bands who've played in Dubai.
Fantastic, fantastic. So before we really get into Resurrection and organizing metal gigs in Dubai, I'd just like to ask both of you, how did both of you get into metal music in the first place? Vinod, you go ahead, and Matthew, after that, you tell me.
Yeah, for me, it was in the late 90s in Bangalore. I mean, I was listening to Deep Purple, Rainbow, and The Doors, and all of these classic rock, which was easily available. And then, Madan's music shop opened up on Brigade Road, where I could, record these CDs, and then Ram's music, which is also used to have some bootleg tapes where we used to buy and get this. But my biggest influence was where I stayed. I stayed in an area in Sanjay Nagar, Bangalore, which was surrounded by colleges. So Ramaya College was one of the most famous one. So we had a lot of expat students coming to study engineering and medicine and hotel management there. So they're coming from the US, UK, Malaysia, Singapore, all these countries. So they all bought their music with them as well. So many of them bought the CDs. And that's when I progressed from Metallica, Megadeth to King Diamond, Sepultura, Death, and all of these. So they were Indian expat students who were studying medicine and engineering in Ramaya College. So, and of course, Millennium was one of the bands. The guitarist Rio was from Ramaya College as well. So, so I can say it was late early 90s that I started listening to metal music, and this is how I got into metal. Started with Michael Jackson and the usual George Michael and rest of it, Grammy Awards and whatever, and then progressed on to the heavier side of life.
Lovely. Matthew, what about you?
So for me, it started in high school, early 2000s. I was in a punk band in those times, and we were throwing some shows when we were in that little punk band, and it really ignited my love for music and the power of playing on stage and hanging with people. And it was a great experience for us. We were playing Blink-182 covers, in the time. Started listening to something slightly heavier in school, something called Finch. I mean, if I listen to it now, it's not heavy at all. But at the time, I was like, yo, this is crazy. This guy's screaming. And yeah, when I finished school, I studied sound engineering, and that's when I really got into music. I had like-minded people were studying with me, joined a few bands. At one stage, I was in three bands at a time. I was vocaling for some bands, so I got into screaming. I was called Emo Matt back in the day. Uh,
I was
which
called
I'm proud of.
I was called Death Throat.
Oh, Death Ray. See, way
I
more
was like,
badass than I
Death
am.
Throat.
Emo Matt and Death Throat. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Death Throat Vinod.
And yeah, so when I finished studying, I mean, I moved to the UK and I got to watch every band I ever wanted to while I was living in London. Yeah, Funeral for a Friend, Seosin is probably one of my top bands. But then I'm into, Parkway Drive. Um, it just gets heavier and heavier until now I'm listening to War from a Harlot's Mouth and the craziest bands I can listen to. I'm a big hardcore fan, so Touche Amore and at the moment a band called Currents. Yeah, there's too many to name, but yeah, that's kind of my musical journey. So and I appreciate all music and running my own live music venue. I mean, when I moved back to South Africa from the UK, I had my events company and I was in a band. And when you're in a band, you set up your own events, and then you start setting up events for your own band to play at those events. It's like a 2 for 1. And we were renting out sound and renting out clubs and like playing wherever we could at skate parks or wherever. And then, yeah, as a strategic move, I ended up buying my own sound rig and then renting that sound rig to myself. And then over the years, I got quite a good reputation from all the different clubs I was working with, and one of them said that they were going to close down, and would I like to take it over? And that was the biggest thing. So then I ran that music venue called the Winston Pub in Durban, which was an iconic music venue already, but it was very gothy, and so when my brother and I took it over, yeah, we just rejuvenated the whole thing. I mean, and it was a roller coaster. So 2013 all the way till 2023. I suppose, COVID basically closed us down and forced our hand to shut 2021. South Africa specifically, they stopped all bars and events venues from trading for almost 2 years. So it was very hard to keep the doors open after that.
Okay.
But then, yeah, moved to Dubai, had an opportunity. My wife got an opportunity to work here in her dream job, and I joined. And now I've met Vinny, and I'm back into the scene. So yeah, I'm so happy and excited about it. I'm happy to bring some bands that I know of to add my influence to what Resurrection Events is doing, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Lovely, lovely. And speaking of the nicknames that you mentioned, Emo Matt and Death Throat Vinod, in my research, I kind of came across this. Vinod, is it true that some of the local fans in Dubai called you Prometheus?
No, that was the recent interview that happened at Dazed, Middle East. So,
Yes.
I mean, they wanted to check out the scene from, what's happening in the heavier side of life, and they came and interviewed us, and yes, and I'm a metalhead. I mean, I'm no one. I love to see the bands in front of me. I used to travel to Wacken. I used to travel to Bloodstock and Brutal Assault and rest of the festivals. So I thought it would be nice as my daughter's growing up to bring bands closer and right in front of me. So instead of watching them with 50,000 other people, I'm now upfront and personal with these guys, and that's what it is. I mean, going to festivals is fun, but seeing your band that you've always cherished in front of you is something else. So yeah, I don't call myself anyone. I'm a metalhead and just doing shows for the fun of it and the passion of it.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. Okay, so getting right into it, let's start with this. What was the origins of Resurrection Metal events? Tell me how that started.
That's a great question. I mean, it's got a lot of history behind that. This is exactly what we were supposed to do this afternoon and talk about it. And do our own
Yes,
stuff.
I think it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So,
So basically, it all happened in 2009. I mean, I attended three Wackens in 2006, 7, and 8. So
mhm,
during my, when I moved to the Middle East, these three Wackens inspired me to do something in the Middle East because there was no metal music happening. And after moving from Bangalore, where I had the luxury of watching shows every week, or going to the pub at Sticks, or going to Cellar, or going to Guzzlers Inn, or any of these Purple Haze, any of these metal pubs that I could go hang out, meet like-minded people. I couldn't do that in Oman, so it was very, very claustrophobic, or you can say I was missing out on a lot of things. So I thought I should do something. Then I met some like-minded people in Oman. I told them, let's put up a gig together, and we did one at the one of the most prestigious hotels in Muscat, Oman, the Grand Hyatt Muscat. We did it at the club called Safari, and there was a band, black metal band at the time called as Arabia, who played at that gig. I just got the permissions from the hotel manager, and we did that gig. A lot of people turned up. That inspired me. I moved to Bahrain in 2010. The metal scene in Bahrain is really good. The local guys are really awesome. So I wanted to bring that to Bahrain. The Bahrainis are very, very enterprising, and these guys supported, and we started bringing bands like Nerve Cell from Dubai to Bahrain in
mm.
2010. So that's when Resurrection Metal events really started, and the whole idea was to create Resurrection Metal events in Bahrain, Oman, and Dubai as such. And yeah, right now we're living that dream. And 2015, I really took off in Dubai, and 2021 onwards, we're really doing great. So that's how the history of Resurrection Metal events is. I don't have much time, I think, but there's more behind the scene, and what happened, and how it happened, who are the people, and how the name came up. There are a lot of people involved in this whole process. Even the name Resurrection was by one of the Bahraini guys called Hamid, who got this name because we were literally resurrecting the metal scene in the Middle East, because there's nothing
Mm.
happening. So that's what the idea was, to resurrect the metal scene in the Middle East. So that's what we've been doing for the last 15 years. So this is the gist of Resurrection Metal events.
Lovely, lovely. And yeah, we will definitely delve into the specifics here and there as we go on in this chat. So, what is the Dubai heavy music scene like, and what is the general attitude of the Middle East towards heavy music?
Okay, so as you should understand the demographics of Dubai as such, Dubai, 97% of the people are expats. So expats from the Asian countries such as Philippines, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Indonesia, and rest of the countries in the in Southeast Asia. And then you have the expats from the Middle Eastern countries such as Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, and rest of the countries around the region. And then you have the European expats, and then you have a mix of other expats as well from across the world. So basically, the metal scene in Dubai is a mix of expats wanting to listen to their favorite bands in Dubai. So the mix is very, very weird. We have people who listen to goth music, you metal, you have death metal, you have slam, you have thrash. I mean, it's very varied, and Dubai being a place where people come here to work and earn money. It's a very, very different kind of an atmosphere to create metal shows, and specifically pinpoint and say what kind of music does Dubai people like, or anything. You cannot describe it, but in a place like Bangalore or in Chennai or Mumbai or anywhere, you can pinpoint and say, yeah, people do love their thrash metal or their death metal or whatever. But here we have all genres. I mean, people love everything from new metal to even bands like Erasmus. There are so many bands that are coming here to Dubai from all across. I mean, so it's a very, very mixed genre, and it's all expats. It's a mixed, varied, people listening to all kind of music. We have people who listen to black metal as well, and pure black metal like Gorgoroth or whatever. And you have people who don't attend shows when you're playing death metal or thrash because they want to see their bands like Dark Funeral or Gorgoroth or Mayhem, or that kind of specific crowd is also there. So you cannot differentiate. But for me, it is more important. Death metal and thrash metal are my primary genres. But I also love slam, death metal, grindcore, and rest of the heavier side of life. So Matt being with me, he brings in different perspective. He brings the hardcore, he brings the punk, he brings the metalcore elements of things. So it's a mix that we want to try and pursue and see how it works. So with regards to the audience in Dubai, you cannot pinpoint and say that this is what they love. So it's a very, very mixed audience.
Okay, okay. But why was there a lack of heavy music in the Middle East before you came in? Because, like you said, you had to resurrect it practically, right? So, when you arrived and you saw what was going on, why was there a lack of heavy music in the Middle East?
Basically, heavy music existed in the 70s, 80s, and 90s in Bahrain, in Dubai, and all that. You have to understand that, there were a lot of British and French and Spanish and all these people who were living and working in Dubai in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But it was in the 90s when, heavy metal got associated with Satanism, associated with the usual, cliched stuff of this music is not good for anything, and then also a little bit to do with religion and whatever. So there was rock and heavy metal always existed in the Middle East. But it got suppressed in the 90s because of the religious reasons, and due to the association of music or heavy metal music with Satanism and things like that. So it diminished quite a bit. But we do have bands like Nerve Cell who started in 2000, and then you have Scarab from Egypt who were there from quite a long time. And there are many other bands who have been playing this kind of music. So I can say in the late 90s and early 2000s, things started getting better. But there was no real push because people were like, Dubai was much better in the sense, and that way where I lived in Oman and Bahrain, it did not picked up. Dubai was more open. We had the Desert Rock Festival, which was there in 2004 and went on till 2010. There was Shamal, the Battle of the Bands, which was there, which was happening. That was happening. I mean, things in Dubai were much better than the other surrounding neighboring countries like Saudi, Bahrain, or Oman. Yeah, but after so I came in 2004. I enjoyed all of this. I enjoyed the Desert Rock Festival. I used to travel every year from Oman to watch them. So it was every year happening 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all these years. And then I was doing Wacken as well. So there was a lull after 2010 when the Desert Rock Festival closed down. So that lull happened and few people picked up the shows here. And 2012, 13, there are sporadic events happening here and there at a venue called Music Room. And then we had a few shows at the Al Nasr Leisureland, and it was very sporadic, not like before. And then there was a complete lull for another couple of years because the Dubai government started putting some taxes on entertainers, where they were charging each entertainer to pay X amount of money, and this also diminished all the organizers not to do shows. Yeah, so that was a lull, and then it slowly started picking up again in 2014 onwards in Dubai, and of course in Oman and in Bahrain, it was it was started off in 2010, and they picked up pace as well in 2016, 17 onwards as well. So yeah, this was everything goes in an up and down graph. So there were waves of things happening sporadically quite often, and then there was lulls as well.
Okay, so my next question is from both of your points of view, as simply as you can in like a step by step method, because there are obviously a lot of details into this. What goes into organizing a gig from point A to point Z, from like choosing the bands to like getting the bands on stage in a particular venue? What goes into organizing a gig?
See, Dubai is a different, again, organizing gigs in anywhere across the world is totally different, whether it's South Africa, India, or Europe. I'm just going to talk how it happens here in the Middle East. In Dubai, specifically need some special permissions from the Dubai government, DTCM, to organize shows. So each artist who's the headliner needs to get artist permissions. So this is one thing. So earlier, we had some restrictions on the kind of artists that could come to Dubai. I mean, we were not me as Resurrection Metal Events were a little on the back foot, not bringing black metal bands because we didn't want the authorities to flag us down, whatever. So back in the days. So starting from there, then we start, curating the show as to what kind of crowd do we have, what kind of nationalities do we have. We have Indian, we have Filipino, we have Sri Lankan, we have European communities, we have the Middle Eastern community from various countries here. So looking at all of them, I used to curate shows based on knowledge about each and every. I know most of the metalheads here in Dubai, so I used to watch them. They used to come to my shows. I also used to be called as DJ Vin for a period of time where I used to play a lot of music. I used to do some playlist DJing, not the real metal DJ or mixing and stuff. So playlist DJing. So I know if, for example, if it was Varun coming, I know he would love to listen to, Testament or Overkill or whatever. If there was Kamal coming from Syria, I knew he'd like Dimmu Borgir. He would like, Dark Funeral. He would like these bands. So likewise, I knew every single one of them, what kind of music they liked, and then I used to curate shows based on that. That's how I got Resurrection Metal Events to start off, understanding the whole diaspora of people around, and then curate the shows. Then the venue is big challenges here that we have in Dubai because it's not like India where you have regular venues like Phantom or Vapor, or you have the White Lotus or any of those. We heavy metal music is not welcomed at most of the places. They want us to do those shows on a Friday or a Sunday. And Sundays in the afternoon or Fridays. If we go to a big venue to seek permissions for these venues, the kind of money that they ask is ridiculous. I don't think any metal organizer would want to, achieve that. So, yeah, so venue is another thing, and then getting a good sound supplier is also another big challenge. We've done trial by fire, or we've tested many suppliers across the years, and then now we have kind of settled down with one guy who's doing a great
Amy?
job for us, and then after that is a sound engineer to mix metal music is something very unique, something very different. We tried and tested with many sound engineers. So apart from the sound equipment part of it, we also started looking at sound engineers over a period of time to mix heavy metal or death metal or slam death metal music. It's very tough to find a great sound engineer here in Dubai. We tried, many people tried, tested. We failed couple of times, failed. Then some gigs were great, some gigs. Finally, we have settled down with one guy, Ellie, who's doing a great job for us, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's done all our major shows like Evil or Sinister, Malevolent Creation. He's done some of the biggest gigs that we've done. So I mean, we trust him, and he's been great. So sound engineer for us is very important as far as our music is concerned, because people come to our shows to not only watch the music but also to listen to great sound as well. So we've done our mistakes, we've learned trial and error. We've overall got it. Then also a lot of other things with the venue, in terms of the drinks, in terms of the pricing, in terms of the facilities available, how close is it to the metro, how clean are the things for the women's toilets, how is the air conditioning working, because in Bangalore you don't need that, but in Dubai we definitely do need the air
Yes, you do.
conditioning,
Yes,
because
you
it's
do.
very hot. 50 degrees, even now it's above 40 here. So you need air conditioning, you need also a good stage, a high level stage. We've been fighting, and many venues have many challenges in Dubai, but yeah, overall, I can say these are security is another thing, just for the sake, not that anything untoward happens. But yes, these are some of the things that we look into in organizing a show here in Dubai. Yep. Matthew.
Yeah, of course. I mean, once you've got the venue down and you've got the bands down and you've got your sound down, then you need to start focusing on marketing. And we're in a place where it's not extremely popular here. Of course, Vinny has put up a support group and a following, and there are definitely metalheads here and people that enjoy the heavier side of music, but it's to get them to come to the shows, which I think is a little bit difficult. And it's one of the biggest challenges.
And also, the running order, we need to keep in mind who's playing first, who's playing next. How does the whole event go through a smooth transition, from band to band, the in between, chats, or I also do a little bit of emceeing on the shows just to keep the crowd going. Also, playing the right music for the right shows. That's very important to keep the crowd in the same, vibe as the music. I mean, if for example, if you're playing death metal and you play some pop music like Venga Boys or something, it just kills the whole atmosphere. I mean, yeah, you can play it for fun, but no, after 5 minutes, I think people will start throwing stones at you or whatever. So the music
Okay.
is also very important. The lighting of the place, the lights are important, because what kind of music and the lights are crucial as well. I mean, so these are some of the aspects that we try and see, is good or almost perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we mustn't forget the staff. You have to have the staff to work the show. Obviously, the venue will provide its own bartenders and some sort of management, but
Yeah,
if you're selling merch, you need merchandise, someone to
correct.
work the merch. You need someone that's going to work the door that you trust. You
Exactly.
need to hire additional security potentially, an MC if you can't do it, if you need to arrange DJs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a number of things.
A
It's
number of things. And then, of course, the hospitality part of it. If the bands are coming from Europe, most of our bands are from Europe or India. You have the
Mm.
hotels, you have their breakfast, their lunches, their dinners, their drinks, their travel, their transport, their pickups, their drops to the airport off. There's a lot of hospitality stuff that needs to be taken
Yeah,
care of.
included in that is you also want to show them around. They're here
Yeah,
for a good time-ish,
exactly.
so you want to help them experience Dubai and help them experience the Middle East, especially if it's their first time here.
Yeah,
And so Vinny's very good at thinking of that, which is
yeah.
admirable. We're not just going to pick you up from the airport, throw you in the hotel. You're going to play a show, and we take you back to the airport. Vinny arranges stuff for them to do, takes them around.
Yeah.
We're happy to, hospitality
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah, because that's very important, because every band that comes here, we make sure the hospitality is good. They go back and talk good about us. They post our pictures, they post our videos. That's very important as well, because we try to take them to a local eatery, or a Arabic food, or a Lebanese grill, or any of these kind of places. So it's memorable for them. We take them to the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. We take them around Dubai Mall. We take them maybe to the beaches. Some of the bands prefer going to the beaches in the summer. Like a band from Macranius wanted to be in the beach and they wanted to swim in the Indian Ocean. So we had to take them to the sea. And some of them wanted to be in the swimming pool and let them swim all day and have a few drinks there. They don't want to go out anywhere. Some of them wanted to do a cultural tour of Dubai. They wanted to see the cultural places in Dubai. So we did that. I mean, basically, we try and cover as much as we can in 1 day or 2 days. So with Matthew and a few others who are supporting me right now, yeah, we were able to achieve. And most of the bands that who've come here have always talked good about us. And so more and more bands are coming here and approaching us to do their gigs for 2025 and 2026. We do have some huge announcements coming up soon.
Lovely, lovely. I mean, that sounds like so many spinning plates in the air just to do one show.
A great
I'm just soaking in like all the knowledge that
You
you're
make
sharing
zero
here.
money. You make zero money out of this. You lose more
Yes,
money
yes. Actually,
and more hair
I
as
was
well.
actually about to get into that in one of my further questions. Like, how much money do you end up even making? Like, is there any kind of like profit involved, or is it all just for the passion?
It's just passion. I mean, see, every show that I've done thus far, I have lost money. Okay, there are some shows where I made some money, but that balances out the whole thing. So there is no show that I made any profits or anything that was where I can say that I became a millionaire doing this kind of music.
So, before I get into the India Dubai connection that I'm really fascinated to hear, Matthew, I just want to know from you how much of a culture shock was it, to do gigs in Dubai as opposed to South Africa? Because as Vinod explained, that there are certain rules that you have to adhere to when it comes to bands, right? So, how much of a culture shock was it to do gigs in Dubai as opposed to South Africa?
For me, I'm quite new. I mean, I've only recently really started doing shows with Vinny, so I'm still learning a little bit about it. There's definitely a lot more red tape here than otherwise, but there's red tape everywhere. The thing about Dubai is it's also it's very multicultural, and that's similar to South Africa. So you get people from all walks of life. You have to your shows have to there has to be a little bit for everyone. I think if you're too niche, you're not going to do it. Well, that's my theory anyway. You need to be inclusive, and so that's interesting. It's not like America, where everyone's a rockhead in America. Here, not everyone's a rockhead. Some people like something different, and the same in South Africa. A lot of people enjoy the traditional music, jazz, Zulu. I mean, metal, punk. It needs to be a mixed thing. We're all joining for the like of art. Music is art at the end of the day, so you want to be inclusive in your art. And yeah, so other than the red tape, it's not much of a cultural shock. I think I'm quite used to the diverse market and the diverse people that are around and how we have to account for all of that.
Okay, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, Vinod, tell us a little bit of the sampling of the Indian bands that you had in Dubai over the years. And, what kind of bands do you pick from India for your shows? Because obviously you guys have your own preferences.
Good question again. I mean, so basically, I mean, I come from Bangalore, so my basic music is thrash, heavy metal, death metal, and also what I do is I also check out these bands when I come for festivals in India or for any metal meetings in India. I always drop in, pop in, come visit all the bands, and I watch their show at least once or twice before I invite them to Dubai. So it's been very rare that I've invited a band without seeing them or without seeing them once or twice at least. So I've generally come down to India, to Bangalore or Hyderabad or whichever city, whichever is possible for me. I've watched these bands and then invited them. So there's no specific genre or anything. So we've had bands like Cryptos who've played with us. We had Chaos. We have Septic Isle. We had War Marshal. We had Godless. We had Gutslit. We had Uh, Many bands who've played with us. I mean, who else am I missing out on? Yeah, I think the Down Troddence have played. I mean, more or less, these are some of the biggest bands that Girish and the Chronicles have played as well. So these are some of the biggest bands, metal bands from India, or rock and metal bands from India. I mean, I don't know anybody else bigger than this, but yeah, there are many upcoming bands whom I want to bring, but they also need to have some kind of a fan following. They need to have some kind of recognition as a niche band in their genre or in their city or in their country. They should have played at a couple of shows across India, not just in one city in Bangalore. They should have played in Chennai, Mumbai, and across. Or if it's a band from the Northeast, they should have played down in Hyderabad, Bangalore, etc. Same with the Mumbai band, should have played across. So this is what I look at, and of course, I forgot Inner Sanctum who played with us as well. I was half there for that show because I hurt my leg at that show. So yeah, I forgot about them. Yeah, so these are some of the bands who played with us. I mean, I definitely go through their Instagram. I definitely go for their shows. I see how they're doing, how consistent they are. It's very important for me to bring a band who are consistent. I don't want bands who are just played a couple of shows and then disbanded, come back again. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking at bands who are serious, who want to create about themselves, who want to travel to Europe, who want to go to Australia, who want to go abroad. I mean, these are the bands I'm looking for. They need to have their mindset set in such a way that metal music is one of their ways of life. It might not be one of their ways to earn money or whatever, but they should dream of going to Europe, playing in European audiences. This is what I look for in a band from India, basically. I mean, and of course, relationships. It's also how they are built, how they are with their crowd, with their audience. I mean, I have a lot of friends across in India who keep giving me feedbacks. I do work with a few of the organizers in India who let me know who are a good band to work with. So yeah, I mean, I get those feedbacks, and based on that, I try and bring an Indian band every 2 or 3 months to give the national stage, international presence, something that they can also look back and say, yeah, we played in Dubai. Yeah, that's it.
Have you had any South African bands over yet?
I will be having soon. I mean, this is some of Matthew's good old friends who have been. This is one of the reasons that me and Matthew got friends about, because we started talking about this band. This is one of the heaviest bands from South Africa. It's Vulvodynia. I mean, they are friends of Matthew's, and when he came for one of our shows, I just popped this name out, and he was like, "Oh, they're my buddies, and I know them from childhood, and they live across the street, and blah blah blah."
Yeah, that's
And stuff
so
like that. And
right.
that's when me and Matthew hit off, and and I kept in touch with him, and he used to pop into our shows whenever he could, because he's having a small family, and he's busy with his work and whatever. So yeah, as of now, hadn't had any bands from South Africa yet, but Vulvodynia will be the first one who will be playing a Resurrection Metal event soon. We will be announcing that as soon as possible as well.
Yeah, and that's really
Lovely.
exciting. I mean, they're one of they're doing really well in the I hate genres. I hate when people ask me what genre are they. I'm like, I don't know. Just say hardcore, deathcore. But yeah, they're probably a brutal slam core of sort. But they are one of our biggest exports at the moment. I mean, they do like 3 international tours every year. The States, they're going
Yeah,
to Australia soon. They've done Europe several times.
yeah.
And yeah, we're really looking forward to hosting them here. They played their
Lovely.
first 3 shows at my venue before they had even, yeah, they were like an online band at some stage, and now they're a legit
Mhm.
band. But yeah, I grew up with all of them, and we all grew up going to shows together in our teens and shit.
Okay, lovely, lovely. So, any memorable stories from your gigs, like anything concerning the bands and how they played, or any mishaps that you may have learned from, or anything that went really successful that you were surprised by?
I don't want to get into any controversies at the moment. I mean, see, we do have challenges when we have, all the international bands come. There are some hiccups from our end. Sometimes the drum setup is not proper. Sometimes they need some particular equipment that they need, whether it is, in-ears or, they need a cordless in-ears, they need a wireless one. Things like that. They need a three toms to double bass. There are some challenges with regards to that, but otherwise, we've had fun times with most of the bands. I mean, Craniotomy, Blood Red Throne, Malevolent Creation was really something else. But yeah, I'm sure the Bangalore boys who did their show would know. Yeah, Phil Fasciana was amazing. I've got good memories of that show, but yeah, I'll keep that to myself. Yeah, we've had some challenges, ectomorph, and there are some challenges that happen on the way, but nothing that I want to put it out in the open. These were some learnings that I learned over the years and months of doing shows, but generally, all the bands have been absolutely down to earth. I mean, they are so happy and glad that I invited them to Dubai and gave them an opportunity to play here. They come here with their humble souls. I mean, they might be rock stars in their own countries and their own, venues and regions, but they are humbled by coming to Dubai, being invited here. We take good care of them. I mean, they get to drink what they want to. They get to go to the clubs, pubs, eat some good food. They can try some traditional, Mediterranean cuisine, things like that. And they drink all night. I mean, yeah, we've had some wild nights, after parties with these bands, and it went on till next day. And some of them almost missed their flights, So
Okay.
so it was close to that, but yeah, we've had some crazy memories with most of the bands. Yeah,
I'll
uh,
never, I'll never forget in my past, we hosted a band called The Darkest Hour, and
Okay.
they're big, man. They only play festivals and stadium shows, but we ended up, our venue in South Africa was so iconic that bands would want to play there. If you're coming to South Africa, you want to play at the Winston in Durban. And even though you're playing to 5,000 people the night before, you want to play at the Winston. We only see 400 people. But
Mm.
and for us, it was such a big show, and I remember being so stressed about the sound. And their rider was like this long, we need this. And I'm like, well, we have this, and this, and we ended up pulling it off. It was the craziest thing ever. But the band arrives for sound check at like 4 p.m. and they get onto the stage, and the show's starting at 6. And they start plugging everything in, and then they looked at us. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was like 5 minutes before they were about to play. They just looked at us and they said, "Hey, you've got 110 volts on stage, right?" And I was like, "No, this is South Africa. We have 220 volts." And somehow within 10 minutes, we had to change all our power on the stage to 110 to accommodate all of the pedals, their amps, their guitars. And it was a miracle. I had a friend that worked in the audiovisual business. I called him. He came around immediately. He had some transformer. It was like, but I'll just never forget that moment. Just we were ready. We're so happy you guys are on stage. And I said, "Where's the 110?" They're
yeah,
like,
this
"Oh my
rider is a
God."
big issue because they come with the European festival riders, usually, but we're doing a small pub or a
Yeah, a
bar
venue that
gig,
sees
and
500 people doesn't
yeah,
need what they're asking for. And
Mm.
a lot of them are copy pasting their riders,
yes,
This is
exactly.
our standard rider. Just
Yeah.
send it to them. And then
Some of them have champagne, they have, specific liquor that they want to drink. It has to be ale, it has to be Jack Daniels, there has to be almonds, there has to be energy drinks, there has to be apple juice. And we had the strangest request one from one of the bands. They wanted a bottle of milk on stage
what?
during the show. Yeah, and they're a pretty famous band, and he's pretty well known for that. And I guess they played in India as well. So it's Pestilence. I mean, he wanted a bottle of Patrick Mameli, the vocalist. He wanted a bottle of cold milk on stage.
That's
We
so
had to
wild.
keep it cold till the moment he goes. And being in Dubai, we need to keep it in the freezer or fridge. So, and keep it on the stage. He says that his voice improves by drinking that milk, or maybe he gets more energy, whatever. So, this was one strange request that we got for a show. But rest of it, towels, beers, stuff like that is pretty common. But yeah, that's it. That's it.
You got me.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And I understand that you just said that you don't want to name any names, but I just had this question in here just to make this a little juicy. Which was the hardest band for you guys to deal with over years? Can you take any names? Is there anything you want to vent about in that regard?
There
They
are
were
a couple of
all
bands.
they were all easy. They were all amazing. There's never been any issues, and that's
Yeah.
that's the end of it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there have been a couple of bands who've been really challenging. I mean, it's just that the way they are built, some individuals are built in such a way that, they expect a royal treatment or royalty. We are not a big metal country. We're not a big metal city. We're not having rock stars coming every other day. We're not driving them in limousines, or they think Dubai, oh wow, it's going to be
Picked up in
exotic. It's going to
Lamborghinis.
be, they're going to come and pick us in a Ferrari.
There'll
They're
be
going to come and,
tigers on the stage.
yeah, and they're going to have all equipment on stage, and they're going to have, women dancing on stage. I don't know what they're expecting. Maybe whatever. I mean, some of the bands come with some weird notions, and some others come with a different notion. Is it okay to walk on the street with shorts? I have these kind of questions sometimes being asked. Is it okay to wear a half sleeve shirt and walk around? Is it okay if I smoke cigarette in the pub? I mean, Dubai, you can smoke in any of the pubs, so they ask some cultural questions about, what about drinking? Is there drinking allowed? Will my hands be chopped off if I
Oh
drink on the
God.
street? Yeah. So these kind of questions were asked. I mean, I said you cannot drink on the streets, but most of the places in your private houses, balconies, and the pubs, you can drink. So these questions were arised. Some of the women asked some questions as to how much clothing they can wear, how can they go to the malls, what they can buy in the malls, should they wear a full burqa or fully
Hmm.
dressed like a Muslim, dress, things like that. But yeah, apart from that, all has been good. So far, so good. Fingers crossed.
Okay, okay. So then let me just twist this another way then. What is the worst or most amateur thing any particular band can do to make your job harder as promoters in your experience?
They don't know their equipment. We had a band who were pretty famous, and they don't know that how to plug their in-ears, and they have an in-ear system that they need to manage themselves. We don't know what the settings are for that. The band needs to set it up and tell us this is what it is. It took us over half an hour for them to set it up, because only one member of the band speaks English. Rest of them
Mhm.
four don't speak English. So that means we have to communicate to the main man, and he's going to communicate. By the time it comes back to us and to the sound engineer, it's a Chinese whisper. So it took us half an hour to really understand some of these bands. So this is something that we find strange. Some of them, are trying out new equipment, and they don't know their equipment, which is very important for a band. So what about you,
No,
Matthew?
no, I agree. The band, you need to know what you're doing. Don't ask for a GX7 microphone if you don't know how to turn it on. You're just like asking for the craziest thing you could possibly
Yeah,
want. If I could give any advice to any band, that specialty stuff that you want, bring it with you. Know what you need to do, know how to use it, and don't mess with us on the last minute. We've got
yeah,
10 other things on our mind. We
exactly.
can't also tune your guitar for you. Bring your own guitar tuner if you don't mind.
Just to
Yep.
finish off, some bands don't come up for the sound checks. They just want to drink, and they just want to plug and play. And when they do that, it creates more
No,
challenges
absolutely.
challenges for them, for us, I mean, and them as well, because the first few songs doesn't match, and then the sound engineer has to really manage that sound, and it takes a couple of songs. So it's important for a band to come and do a sound check before a show. It's very, very critical. I think even big bands like Slayer or Behemoth or Megadeth or any of these bands do their sound check. I mean, that's being
100%.
professional. I mean,
Hmm.
if you're in it for just for the fun of it, I mean, then you shouldn't be in it. And this creates a lot of problem for organizers as well.
Okay, okay. And flipping this a little bit on the promoter side, what is the most common mistake or error that you see other promoters do that when you see you're like, no, no, this is not how you do it, this is how we would do it, and all of that. What is your biggest pet peeve in that regard?
There are a few things you can divide that or compartmentalize that into different things. One is marketing, one is sound, one is the what genres of band they're bringing, or how do they do the whole the concept, the artwork, the promotions. So there are various aspects. Every promoter has their own style of doing things. We have our own style of doing things. So me and Matthew have been trying to change that a bit, because we as Resurrection, or me, when I before Matthew came in, I was always death metal, thrash metal. I always had the skulls in the artwork. I had all the brutal elements in the artwork. But when Matthew came in, he was like, "No, let's add some pink. Let's add some color to it. Let's make it more general. Let's make it more." I was like, "Really? You think that'll work?" Then I opened my mind up and I said, Matthew, yeah, you're right. I mean, we should change some of these aspects. I can't be always like brutal. We have kids. And, one question that Matthew asked me, hit me, was, you made this artwork for the Down Troddence. Can you put that poster up in your office and ask your colleagues to attend that event? So,
Hmm.
no, I don't think so, because it had a demon and it looked very dark, very thing. So my all my people in my office don't listen to metal. I mean, they are into various kind of music. But what he's saying is, if you want more of a varied audience, it's all how you show yourself out to the audience, whether through your marketing or
Yeah,
various.
your artwork can still be edgy. It can still be cool. To you and me, we would appreciate that artwork. But if you can't send it to, I'm not saying it to your mom, but if I can't put it on my friends group or my work group or my complex group, then you're doing something wrong, I think, because you're closing the people that can attend. You actually want people that don't listen to metal to say, "Wow, that's a cool poster. I don't know much about it, but I want to go to that because of the poster, and I'm going to look into it." And then when they come to the show, they're going to fall in love with that music. There's one thing to listen to the heaviest band ever, and there's one thing to see it. If you watch them on stage, you would appreciate them. And yeah, so just going back to being a little bit diverse, you don't want to put yourself in a corner. You want to be a little bit diverse and be open enough to get other people to come to the show. If the artwork is one way, you've already locked yourself in that demographic. And it's not a bad thing. But you're not going to grow the scene. And that's what we need to do here. There is no scene. You don't have 500 to 1,000 people going to rock shows every weekend here. And that's where we want to get to. But you have to grow that scene, and
Exactly.
actually introduce them to that music, maybe
Exactly.
by tricking them and having a pink poster. And they're like, "Oh, this looks fun," and then they get there and they're like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And they're like, "Oh, this is actually rad. This is dope. I love this. I'm gonna come next week." And that's the
Yeah,
plan.
that's what. So going back to your question about promoters, it all depends on, what's his budget. What does he have? I mean, do you have $1 million to spend on a show? I mean, you can do whatever marketing, you can do anything, you can do stickers, posters, you can do whatever. So, it's different strokes for different folks. That's what I can say. I mean, each promoter has his own thing, has his own makeup, has his own
For
mindset.
Yeah, sorry to butt in there. For me, is talking about what I don't like to see other promoters doing is, and it's no easy way to say this, but don't overpay the artists. of course, we want to give the artists as much money, but it has to be a fair deal and fair for everyone. If you're paying a band 10,000 US dollars to come, you're setting a precedent and you're going to pay every band 10,000 US dollars to come
Absolutely.
and play. But actually, the writer and if you're willing to lose money, that's fine. But there has to be like a fair thing, you know. So if the band is worth 2,000, pay them 2,000.
True.
Don't underpay bands ever. You need to support art, you need to support music, but don't overpay them either because you're creating a bad precedent for everyone else. And the next time I call that band and I say, "Hey, we've got an awesome show, come and play," they'll be like, "Oh, it's 10,000 US, right?" I'm like, "Well, no, that's impossible." Yeah, but that guy paid me that. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that guy lost all of his money, but he's and we just can't do that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
One
that
guy setting that precedence makes it harder for the rest of you.
Correct.
absolutely.
Correct.
And so
So the other point that I want to bring up here is also when a promoter announces a show, there are other promoters who try to, block that promoter by creating a show a day before or a day after the show. So this
Oh,
completely, destroys the whole, what do you call it? The atmosphere or the.
well, absolutely. In a small scene like Dubai currently has, you want to work together. You want all promoters to say, actually, we should all be in a group saying, "Hey guys, I've got a band, bringing them on the 14th of August next year." And I'll be like, "Oh, I was going to bring a band. Okay, I'll move mine a week ahead or a week before, or you need to be open because if you put two shows on at the same time, no one wins. We get half and you get half, and no one wins. The music scene, everyone that attends the show is like, "Oh, this is quiet," you know. And so it's not a good idea in emerging markets to fight each other. You should be working with each other. We used to do that
oh,
in my hometown often. There's five different venues, and we would have a group every month. I would say, "This is my plan for the next 60 days. You guys,
hmm.
is there anything that's going to cut over?" "Oh, yes, on that Saturday, I was also going to do something." So I'll say, "Okay, well, I can actually change mine. That's all good. You take the Saturday, I'll do the Friday, or we'll switch it up by a week, or whatever it is." You know, all promoters in the UAE, we should be working together to build the scene because everyone will win in the end. As the scene grows, the more people there are to attend, the bigger the shows will be, the better for everyone.
Okay, okay. So there is like an established channel of communication between like all the promoters to like, help each other and make sure one doesn't counter program against the other, is it? So that's all that also factors in on how you do shows.
No, there isn't, and there should be, is what I'm
Oh, there
saying.
should
There was
be. Okay.
some time, but then, nobody adhered to it, including myself. I mean, various reasons, underlying reasons behind that, but that for another time.
We're doing this on a sideline so that
Yeah,
the dream is to be able to make money like this.
true,
And I
true.
know that Vinny was saying, there is no money, and there is no money, but the plan is to build it up strategically, slowly but surely, so eventually you do start making money. So at the moment, if you have 300 people at 150 dirhams or rupees or whatever it is, whatever currency, and you get 45,000, that's right. But if you can build it up to 800, then you can start making money and start investing in bigger bands and start investing in bigger equipment, maybe open up your own venue. And that's the goal. That was my goal anyway in my life and in South Africa. I started as a very small
Yeah,
events company. Then I started doing sound and lighting. And then I eventually got to take over my own venue. And that's when it really started happening. I mean, and that would be our goal, I suppose, in the long run, where we dream about opening up our own club, because
exactly.
the clubs make all the money. They
Yeah,
they get the bar, they get some of the door, they get some of the merch. But if we could do all of that, but
Hmm.
it's slowly but surely.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's turn this into a question. I initially didn't have it here, but let's turn this into a question. So, what is your ultimate goal with Resurrection Metal events, and how you want to scale it up into something better? Like, what is your end goal here?
so I'll answer this first, and then Matthew can. So See, as Resurrection Metal Events, when we started off, I learned my lessons from what happened to Desert Rock Festival here. So they came with the biggest bands. They had Motorhead, they had Arch Enemy, they had all the big bands. You name it, your White Snake, they had Iron Maiden, they had Machine Head, Sepultura, all of this. So for me, my vision at that time was to keep it small, keep it compact, keep it tight as a small ship, and then surge it forward slowly, step by step. So over the years, I've seen that I have grown in not only in terms of the kind of bands that have been coming to my show, but also the kind of audience that who've been attending. It's been a climb, but I've still not peaked as such. But for me, the dream for Resurrection Metal Events to is to have our own venue, to have our own sound, our own place to jam where we can invite people from bands across the world. And of course, it'll be great to be associated with the Inferno Festival or the Summer Breeze or the Resurrection Fest in Spain or something like that as well. Would be something great for us as Resurrection Dubai. So end goal is to have our own place. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, to take that even more, once you get your own place, a dream of mine as a sound engineer is to also have a recording
Yeah.
facilities in there, turn it into a record label. If you're inspiring people to start music and into music, and hopefully we can, the dream should be to also inspire school kids to listen to this type of music, to start bands in school, and eventually have somewhere to do that. In South Africa, we always struggled because it was almost impossible to get your music recorded at a professional level. It just wasn't
Right.
affordable. There was actually no way to do it, and that's something that always bothered me. And that's a difference I would like to make. I'd like to have a studio. If we opened up our own venue, obviously with a place that bands can come and perform and play, but also to practice and also to record and join a record label of sorts so that we can start booking you other shows and that for me is the dream. It's always been the dream, and that's the plan of action.
Yep.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, guys, before we wrap up this amazing, insightful podcast, I'd like to play a little game with you guys. This is called
Sure.
Trivia Time. So,
Love
I'm going
it.
to give you some short questions and you give me, like, the short answers. All right.
Sure.
Okay. First, when and where was the very first gig hosted by Resurrection?
Uh, it was in Muscat, Oman, if I could call it at that time. But otherwise, it's March 13th, 2015 in Dubai at the Music Room.
Favorite and least favorite edition of Desert Inferno?
I'll have to speak for that. My favorite edition of Desert Inferno was with Acranius. I don't remember the edition number. That was a slam death metal band from Germany. My least was Ectomorph, who played here in Dubai. It was a really painful.
Can you elaborate
Day.
on that?
Yeah, I don't want to, but yeah,
It happens,
Okay.
you have good shows, you have bad shows, and
yeah.
sometimes could be the
Mm,
people, could be.
Yeah, these were what we spoke about in the past about challenges about the bands and whatever to
yeah.
know their equipment and things like that, and treat them as royalty and all this
I mean,
stuff.
he had a
That's
band once that one of the members missed the flight.
yeah,
So all the band, everyone else were like, well, we're not going to get on the plane. Okay, but you're playing at 7 o'clock. So Vinny booked them all another ticket each.
yeah,
They don't pay for that shit. No, mama
yeah.
language. That he had
Ooh.
to. So it cost him double to fly them out here. And that
Yeah,
was
I've had
that
various
was a
instances.
reckless move on the band. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just irresponsible. What do you think? He's not going to get a refund from
Mm.
the airline because you all decided to miss it because your guitarist had a bad passport. I mean, it's just crazy.
yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. You know what, Matthew? I'll turn it over to you. You can look back to your history in South Africa for this. Favorite and least favorite band you've ever hosted in a gig?
favorite band we ever hosted, Comeback Kid from Canada. It was a secret show, and it was the best show of all time. However, we hosted thousands of shows, so I'm probably doing There's probably others that I really enjoyed.
Mm.
Least favorite show, I don't know. It's hard for me to answer that. And maybe it's a good thing. I don't actually have any bad memories, you know. Every show was really rad. Maybe some of the bands got a little bit too drunk before they got on stage, and you're like, oh, dude, really?
Oh my God.
You should have a time, right? A band that comes, especially if they're traveling, you're allowed to start drinking 15 minutes before you're on stage only, not 15 hours before, and not all
Well,
day.
I've got instances like that, many.
Cool, cool, cool. Best and worst venue you've done a gig in. Vinod, you can take Dubai, and Matthew, you can take South Africa.
So the best venue was Bar Bar. We had a venue called Bar Bar that we had gigs there. That was the best venue. The worst venue, I don't want to name it, but
Okay, but
because we
what made it
Just
what made
name
it the
it.
worst? What made it the worst? What exactly happened that made it the worst venue?
had a few things because we don't have the kind of facilities that we have in India or anywhere across the world. So the built up of the place, the pillars, things like that was a challenge. So
The
that,
stage basically is very
yeah,
hard to work
yeah.
with.
So stuff like that. So best venue, Bar Bar, which was great. Worst venue, I don't want to name it. We still may be working with them. So
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Matthew, what about the South Africa
Best
side?
venue we ever worked with was a music festival called Splashy Fen in South Africa, Drakensberg, between 6 and 10,000 people. And we were lucky enough to host our own stage at the festival. So literally build our own stage, have our own tent, have our own camping area, all within this festival. We booked like 24 bands over 6 days, 4 days. It was awesome. Worst venue ever. We used to do something. I'm probably going to get in trouble because I can't remember the name of it. But at a bowling club, like literally, like not 10-pin bowling, like an old school lawn bowling club, and we used to build a stage on the grass. And if you've ever done outside shows, it's not easy. You're
Hmm.
you need a big sound. So yeah, it was tough, but it was fun. And
Hmm.
but yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. Very diplomatic. Okay. Best piece of advice you could give to young promoters.
okay, start small and then think big.
Yeah, my best advice is take your time, because one event can close your whole business down. So
Hmm.
if you're not confident that you're going to get the amount of people, don't aim too high because it's dangerous. For me, the best thing I ever did was work while I built my events company. So don't
Mhm.
quit your day job and just think that events is going to make it happen because you had a good event one time. It doesn't always go like that. So until it's really making you money consistently over a few years, don't quit your day job. You can do both, and you should be doing both. As Vinny says, he's been doing it for 20 years, and he still loses money on some shows.
Hmm.
And it can go like that. You just don't know. Maybe it rains. Maybe it
Hmm.
rains tomorrow. It's the biggest show you've ever booked. It only half the people come, and now you still have to pay the bands the full amount. You still have to pay the venue. It doesn't stop. And so be
Hmm.
cautious and do it slowly, but
Eh,
dream big as well.
Yeah, it's
But
not an easy job, easy thing. I mean, it might look very, glamorous and everything from the outside, but there's a lot of challenges that a new promoter will have to go through in terms of, everything from booking band, flights, the details. I mean, you got to be
hey,
detail oriented in
there's a
everything with regards to the rider,
Hmm.
with regards anything.
there's a documentary right on Netflix called I think it was called Fire Festival.
Oh
If you
my
Yeah,
want to
God.
use, have a
I've heard
yeah.
about that. Even my mom
That
watched
is
that
the
documentary. That's how
That
infamous
is
it
the
is.
epitome of how it can go wrong
exactly. I
immediately.
watched it.
That is,
I
and
watched it.
it's so close to home because that's exactly how it can go. Really,
Yeah,
it can there's so many factors that can turn it into the worst show ever, and people don't
exactly.
attend or whatever it is that
Yeah.
it's a dangerous game.
I mean, how they manage the crowd in that show. I mean, it's insane. I mean, how they squeeze so many people into that gig. It was one of the biggest gigs, and people got killed, and that was
Well, yeah,
crazy. I mean, you don't want to do a show where squeeze so many thousands of people in a small venue, and they many people died. I mean,
Fire
that
Festival. I'm not
I
sure.
think if
Fire
that's the
Festival's
one
the one.
or
No,
one of
Fire
the
Festival's the one that flopped. That no one went, and they
okay,
booked
then there
like
was
Blink
another
182,
one.
and the guy
I don't
literally went
remember
like
which one
$300
this is.
million down in one
Hmm.
day. It was a
Yeah.
dream that failed. It's a clear example of how it can go badly very quickly.
Yeah, the entire Firefest thing was such a fraud, and I became acquainted with the story before the documentary came out. And it was not only was it unprofessional, it was blatant lying. They literally like paid influencers to like give wrong information and pump up the festival into like a level that it was not going to be. And there were like loads of people put into like school buses, and the folks that were
And it,
promised like fancy accommodation, they were like put into tents and given like these cheap cheese sandwiches and all of that. It was fraud on a huge level,
There are a lot
so
of frauds in the promoters side as well. I mean, across countries and across places. I mean,
that's the thing, and when you do the maths, you're like, oh, okay. If I can get 1,000 people at 100, whatever it is you're working at, that's 100,000. Like, wow, that's good money.
mm,
And then you
so
say,
there,
okay, so we're going to book the sound 30,000, the band's 20,000. Wow, we can make 50,000, maybe some marketing and stuff. But that's if 1,000 people come. If 1,000 people don't come and only 500 come, now you break even. If only
mm.
100 people come, now you're minus 40,000.
Okay. Best piece of advice you could give to bands that would improve their chances of being booked by a
It's
promoter. What
internet.
is the best thing a band can
mm,
do to be booked by promoters like you guys and other promoters?
Yeah, I'm sure Vinny has a lot to say about this. You need to have stuff online. I need to be able to listen to you. You need to have a music video up, even if it's a homemade one or a thing, some sort of idea. Consistency. Make sure that you're playing your part. Professionality when you're messaging me or anyone in the thing. Be professional. Uh, we all grew up as crazy bands, but you just need to be a little bit professional about it. And yeah, just make sure you get your get your music online and get your face out there. I need to be, because as an event promoter or organizer, I'm gonna go straight to your Instagram or straight to your Spotify. Firstly, if you don't have Spotify, it's annoying.
Mm.
If you don't, then maybe you've got Bandcamp, and even that is not that great, but I can dig it. But if you don't have anything at all, how do I book you? And yeah, we want a picture of you. You don't have to have 20,000 plays on
yeah.
Spotify. As long as I can listen to your music and judge for myself,
So yeah,
it'll
what
be.
I have to say is build your foundations properly. So your foundation is a key to success. I mean, first and foremost, decide the genre that you want to play. You can't say one day I'm a heavy metal band, then tomorrow a thrash metal band, then a death metal band. Build your foundations, build the team or the band in the right way so that all of you have the right vision and the right focus. I mean, these foundations are important for you to go forwards. For example, if you look at a band like Slayer, I mean, those members, all of them had the same focus. Look at their logo. Look at their marketing. Or, for example, Iron Maiden is another band that you can look at. So it's very important that you have solid foundations as a band. All of you are serious to be a band, to reach the pinnacle, whether you want to
Mm.
play at a big festival, you want to go at a Europe, you want to go elsewhere, or you want to record a new album. These are basics that, it's a training ground. You need a proper manager to guide you. Like, for example, Ron Wood was a great manager for Iron Maiden. I mean, so did the Beatles have a great manager. It's important that you have a tutor, or you have a godfather, or you have a visionary with you to help you, guide you. I mean, yes, I mean, everything is available on the internet, or everything is available, but this kind of a guidance with an experienced person who's handled bands or seen bands or traveled the world or whatever, would give you insights, whether it's little things about your logo. You might be the most brutalist band, you want to have a crazy logo, but it should all make sense. It's like Iron Maiden had Eddie. I mean, it matched their music style. They were talking about history. They were talking about whatever. So things like that. So you need a mentor. You need a mentor as a band as well to guide you into the right space, right? Whether it's a promoter, whether it's your friend, whatever. He might not be necessarily a musician, but he could be a good tactician or a good person that you could go and bounce off ideas. That's very important for a band to grow from zero to hero. So that's important. And then look up to bands that you think of, or you think them as the godfathers. I mean, look up to them and see what they have done right, what have they done wrong. Learn from those mistakes, and then yeah, I mean, you can be a band. I mean, today music is like studying your MBA or whatever. It's part and parcel of your everyday life and culture, whether it's in India or anywhere across the world. But your foundations have to be strong. You need to know whether you want to do neoclassical, thrash, death. You can't just keep shifting your logo, changing it 20 times, and then you can't have some albums out, build a fan following, create a scene like Matthew said on Spotify, YouTube, on Instagram. Create that. You need to tour. You can't just sit in your little room and say, we are a band, we are this, we are that, and not done a single show. I know many bands who are, I mean, they're keyboard artists. I mean, today I can create music sitting at home. I can create a logo sitting at home, and I can say I'm a band. But that's not the idea, right? You need to tour. You need to go to different cities. You can't just stay in your house and say, I'm the biggest brutalist band ever. Have you heard about me? Yeah, you might be, but I'm not seeing you live. I mean, sitting in your room and playing music and going out and playing in front of an audience is two completely different things. So build your foundations, be clear as to what you want, get a mentor, get a promoter, get someone to manage your band. It's very important. Once you have that, you have a scope to grow. You have a scope because all of you have the same vision. The manager has a different vision. You as a band focus on the music. I mean, you create the music. That's what it is. The band manager will create the marketing, the touch base with the record companies, whatever you want. So
Hmm.
this is what I tell the bands. I mean, stay focused. Build what you want to create has to come from within, and all members of the band have to have the same vision.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Next question. Which festival do you look up to as the gold standard of heavy metal festivals that you want Resurrection to like model and to like turn into? Which festival do you refer to?
Great question. You want to start?
There's a festival called Furnace Fest uh,
Hmm.
in America that is just it's the lineup I want to see. If you haven't Googled Furnace Fest, do it, and that's where I want to be. That's the music I want to see. Norma Jean performing there with the original vocalist, from the year '68 that joined in. If you haven't seen that music video, go check it on YouTube. It was crazy. Yeah, so for me, Furnace Fest, there's many festivals around the world. I mean, I also like now it's embarrassing. I can't remember it. Warp Tour. I mean, Warp Tour has just come out again, but that was such a rad vibe for me. Warp Tour had so many bands of all different. It was mostly skate and punk and that type of thing, but it really grew into a massive brand. I mean, they've just recently had it. And one more festival that I really, really love is when we were young. So when we were young it's like totally nostalgic festival. It also has some of the biggest bands that are playing today, but it's all the bands that I grew up with from 2000 to 2010, playing there every time. And so yeah, I'm planning to go to that next year in Las Vegas in August. So I think it's October, September, somewhere around there anyway. But yeah, that's a big one for me. For you?
Okay, for me, I mean, I've attended many festivals across the world. I mean, over the years, I have been to almost across continents. I've been to many festivals. I'm not a big fan of festivals, by the way. Okay,
Okay.
it might be very different, but I don't like festivals simply because you get lost. Festivals are for for meeting and greeting, and you don't go there basically only for the music. Festivals are, you get lost in the madness, you get lost in thousands of people. So for me, I never dreamt of Resurrection Metal events to be a big festival with five stages and 50,000 people. That's not what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a small scale pub show where you have maybe 2 days of it, but two sets of bands playing one day, and another day you have two sets of band, but in a closed area. I still love the intimacy of the bands and the fans together in one place. The atmosphere, the energy, the enthusiasm in that small space is what I like, because in a festival you're already attending, let's say I'm in, and the next one is Creator. You're already thinking about, I have to go there. You have to run to the toilet. I mean, there are different distractions. I mean, for me, when I go to a music festival or whatever, for me, I go for the music. I mean, I want to enjoy that band. I want to fully concentrate on a band. So it's like watching a movie in a theater, or you want to watch a movie in your house with full of friends and people. Will you be able to concentrate on that movie with kids running around and whatever? So you can't focus on the music, but on a different level. Festival is good. It's fun. It's where people meet new people. It's an enjoyment. I mean, but the focus, I feel, on a big scale festival is lost. For me, it is still small stages, small compact shows in pubs, in bars, in lounges. I mean, that's where 1,000 people, 1,500 people, but intimate. The sound, the crowd, the enthusiasm. That's what I love. I mean, that's what I thought Resurrection Metal Festival going to be, like 1,500 people with 2 days of festival. I mean, one day death metal, one day metalcore, one day hardcore, something like that. But in a
Mm.
confined space, confined thing where everybody gets to know everybody. I mean,
Mm.
you have 3 days of festival, so who wants to come on a hardcore night will come on the hardcore night. Who wants to come on the death metal night will come on the death metal, or a thrash metal night comes on thrash metal night. But in a confined space, because a huge festival means cost, means running a big back end team. I mean, like I said, I'm a metalhead. I want to enjoy music more than into getting into the nitty-gritties of the stage, the riders, this, that, and you get completely swallowed by all these things. So for me, as Resurrection Metal Festival will be in a bar. As far as I'm in
Yeah, in a
Dubai,
city festival. Right?
yeah, it's an in-city festival. If I get an opportunity to do something outside of it, I might do it, but that's not what gives me the passion or the I want to see Slayer in a small venue. I want to see Creator in a small venue. When I'm seeing Creator with 50,000 people, I mean, it's great, it's awesome, it's amazing to see the stage props, to see the fire, the lightning, whatever they're going to do for the show. But a small show, like for example, I
It's not
went
as
to,
intimate.
yeah, it's intimate. So for me, what I've seen is festivals like that. I've seen bands like Obituary. If you've seen one of their videos, you can see them stage diving. If you see Napalm Death, I mean, you have all these. If you go to Obscene Extreme, if you see that festival, you see everybody getting on stage, and that's what I like. I like the mix of the crowd and the bands. I don't want. I don't want it to be a download festival, or I don't want, that's not my thing, because it becomes too commercial. I don't want it to be commercial. It's not for the money or whatever. If it happens over a period of time, fine. That's great. That's awesome. But at this moment, I want to do a two-night club gig with two different genres of thing, and create that and build it on from there. Then whatever happens, if an Inferno comes and says, "Okay, Resurrection, we want to be Desert Inferno, we want to be with you," yeah, or some Brutal Assault says, "Come and join us," then it's a different ball game altogether. Or if Bloodstock says, "Come and join us," I mean, that's something else. But as of now, at this moment, I like intimate shows. I feel the fans and the bands enjoy that much more than a festival, because on festivals you have time and there's a lot of challenges. I mean, weather plays an important role. What time you play, whether you play in the day, you play in the night. There are huge factors. It could affect a festival. It is also, who are you? Who's playing at the other stage? If Iron Maiden is playing at the other stage, and you have Kryptos at this stage, I mean, you can see where people will go, right? They will go to
Hmm.
Iron. I mean, so that's where you miss out on the festival. I mean, this is what I've seen. But when you are in a confined space, Iron Maiden is playing there, Kryptos is playing there, so is Chaos or whatever other bands are all playing there.
Yeah,
Going
those
on
type of
around.
shows, I mean, you have a chance that the band is going to come out afterwards, watch the bands with you,
Yeah,
go to the same bar as you.
yeah. You can have
When
a
I
drink
watched
with
Every
them.
Time I Die in London,
Yeah,
afterwards, the dudes from Every Time I Die were
exactly.
in the audience
Yeah,
watching the next band.
exactly.
Alexis on Fire were on stage, and
Yeah.
I was hanging with the dudes from Every Time I
Yeah.
Die at the bar. I mean, that's just the
Yeah.
dream, you know?
I'm not a big fan of festival because people go there to drink, people go there to have, meet other people. Yeah, you can call it a festival. It's like, but for me, intimacy, small club, pub shows, that's what I love. That's what Resurrection Metal events is what I want it to be. But if it grows bigger, great.
And we still won't lose our core, right?
Yeah,
We will
yeah,
still be doing
absolutely.
the club
Hmm.
shows, even if we're
Exactly.
hosting a show
Yeah.
at
Wherever 10,000 people, Coca-Cola Arena or whatever, it doesn't matter. But the small shows are what made you. I mean, at the end of the day,
Fantastic. Fantastic. And last question. Dream band you would love to host in your gigs.
Matthew.
right now, and this is a call out if you can add them in your in your video. If Knock Loose were to come to Dubai, Knock Loose, I've been following them for a long time, and they've really grown huge recently. There's not a festival where Knock Loose aren't headlining, and yeah, Knock Loose, come to Dubai and let's do a show with you.
Okay.
For me, it's all the old school thrash and death metal bands. So anyone from Tampa, Florida, out there, I mean, you know who they are. I mean, most of the Tampa, Florida bands, and then the San Francisco Bay Area thrash metal bands. These are the bands that I want to bring in. I don't want to name them, but all the metalheads would know who they are.
No, but what
I
is your
mean,
ultimate band? The ultimate band you could ever host? Your favorite band of all time that if you bring them,
Cannibal
you've
Corpse would
done.
be one of them. I
Oh,
mean, Cannibal Corpse would be one of them to get them to play in Dubai. I mean, it's gonna be a dream and a challenge with all their artwork
that'd
and
be awesome.
their yeah. So that would be one band. Deicide is another band that I would love to bring them here. Carcass, Napalm Death. These are other bands. Testament, Overkill, Creator. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I mean, if I can get
Cannibal
Cannibal
Corpse
Corpse,
is the
yeah.
one that you've nailed it.
But Dying Fetus is another one that among modern slam death metal bands, I would love to bring them as well. I mean, that would be awesome. So yeah, I think that's good enough.
That's a good dream. Yeah.
Dream. Yeah.
I'll make that happen for
Thanks,
birthday.
Matthew.
Yeah, and
As
Vinod, you
Birthday
should
month.
try your best to make knock loose happen. Vinod, you should try your best to
Yeah,
make
that's
knock loose happen in return.
we've been talking about that. It will for sure. I mean, that's easier.
Well, that's the thing now. So basically, the message is out there. If there are any heavy, hardcore, brutal slam core, heavy metal bands
Trash.
that want to come to Dubai,
Yeah,
contact us.
yeah, exactly.
There's no one else you could probably speak to. I know that like Limp Bizkit played recently. Smashing Pumpkins is playing next month, I think. But I mean, that's on a different level,
Yeah,
and that's not the same.
yeah.
They're commercial.
Yeah.
If you're a hardcore band, you're a thrash band, you're a metal band, and you want to play in Dubai, get hold of Resurrection Events, and we'll make it happen for you.
Lovely, definitely. And I really hope that, all the bands seeing this reach out to you guys for more shows and you can not only make Resurrection stronger, but the Dubai music scene stronger as well. So, guys, thank you so much for your time and energy today, especially with you two being in single dad mode and all the kids running around. I hope this chat has been as fun and insightful for you as it has been for me.
It
Absolutely,
has.
absolutely. Sai, great stuff. I mean, what you're doing is amazing. All those people you featured are great artists. I mean, amazing. Thanks for having us. I mean, really humbled by this as well. I mean, I hope this brings value to you, what you're doing. Thanks a lot and keep that spirit going, bro. Good luck.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
man.
Thank you
Nice
so
to meet
much.
you. Thank you.
And everyone, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you dig it. And check out Resurrection Metal Events Dubai in all the social media. Keep track of what they've got going on. And in fact, what is the next gig you're doing right now as of this speaking?
Yes.
November 1st, we have another gig which is happening. We will announce it. One of the big bands from India are going to be with us.
Fantastic. So there you go. Check out Resurrection Metal Events on all social media. Follow them to see what they've got going on. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.